nation! No donation, no salvation!
And remember, respect is everything.
Okay, we are back. And today we are looking at what is hopefully my last update to my Megas XLR MOC. So for those who don't know, a few years ago I built a MOC based on that robot over there from an old cartoon from way back in the day. It was the early 2004, 2005. Without getting into too much detail, Megas XLR was a cartoon that unfortunately was a tax write-off, so it only lasted 2 seasons. But basically, the show was about a guy who was a mechanic who lives with his mother and hangs out with his friend in a junkyard. And they find this robot that was sent back from the future to stop a war from happening, where they meet their, I guess, trainer, or, for lack of better words, main engineer, Kiva. But yeah, the show is basically the 3 main characters fighting aliens, giant robots, all sorts of crazy things. Except what makes this robot special is that it's powered by a muscle car. Considering the main character who finds the car, Coop, or not the car, the robot, he decides to modify with all sorts of video game controllers and other little shenanigans that he has lying around. For obvious reasons, I did build a model separately for the car and the robot as well. I also decided to bring out this little toy car I had that kind of looks like Coop's car from the show. In the show they called it Cuma because the actual car it's based on is a 1970 Plymouth Hemi Cuda, or Barracuda, depending on you know, how technical you want to be about it. But yeah, in the show the car was bright red, it had flames on the side. This is obviously not from the show, it just happens to really resemble it, so that's the only reason I brought it out. That roof, by the way, is held on with double-sided tape, so yeah, it's actually not originally from this car. I just taped it on there because I thought it would look good, to make it look more like the car from the show. But anyway, there's that. We're not really here to look at that, but I just thought I'd show that off. We'll look at the car first, because this is the most recent thing I updated. So, like I said, the car is based on a Plymouth Barracuda, a convertible as well. That's why it has the black roof. You can remove these if you wanted to make it the convertible. You can do that. Obviously, I'm not going to remove all those pieces, but you can make it the convertible like in the show. Even though the car was mostly attached to the robot half the time, since the head of the robot is basically the car. But anyway, there's the rest of the car. I did finally get color matching fenders that I swapped out from this other car that I had, which I honestly don't mind this. This is supposed to be more like a vintage muscle car, and this is my own little creation for a different project entirely. But I thought I'd show that off as well. But here's the car. I also updated the flame decal to kind of be more, I guess, well, look more like a flame, really. I did it at both sides. But yeah, so there's the car. For the robot, we're going to need to get some height here, so bear with me. Okay, so here's the main robot itself, and before anyone asks where I got that Megas figure from, I found that on eBay. It was a lot of 2. The other one is currently in a glass case next to my T800 skull, so if you're asking where that came from, I literally just found it on eBay one day, and I got really lucky. They were both very expensive, and I did do videos on them, so if you want to check those out, by all means go ahead. But we're here to look at the Lego version, since I decided to do some minor updates now that I've had this figure to go off of as basically reference material. But yeah, I have 2 of those. I have one in a glass case and then one here that sits on the displays here. But anyway, let's look at Megas. I did make him some accessories. I did make him this nice giant boom box, just for comedic effect, really. I just threw together some wheels and a few other things to make it look like a boom box, since it was the early 2000s, and those things were still somewhat relevant to a degree. Go ahead and fold his fingers in. He does have fairly large hands, since he is supposed to be a rather large robot. We'll do a quick 360 of him, just so you can get the full effect. So there's the back. I did add these thrusters, because in the original version I built, I forgot to add these. I also did some color corrections here on the back as well. So yes, he does have all the thrusters he's supposed to have, at least for the most part. I'm sure there's some other details I'm still missing, but I'm at a point where I'm happy with the MOC itself. But let's do another 360 of him. Then here's the bottom as well, which you saw the most of. I did also upgrade the front shins here to cover up those joints and look more accurate to the source material as well. Yeah, he is loaded with articulation. He has quite a lot of it. I did add these side guards as well, because he is supposed to have those. I'm not going to go over too much of the articulation and all that in detail, since there's really not much to look at, since he's fairly static, and it's mostly ball joints anyway, so he's loaded with posability. I did also update the car head as well, so you know, you can detach that if you want to use that for anything. Just a simple little head. I try to make the shape look more like the actual car, I guess. It's a more cartoony, I guess, representation of it, but there that is in detail. And it just plugs back up here. And yeah, that basically acts as the head. But in terms of weapons, I only made these 2 chain guns, because in the show he had quite a lot of weapons. I did not feel like building all of them. There is another YouTuber who also built a Megas figure, much larger than mine, of course, who did all the weapons, so check that out if you want to go through all the weapons. I just made these 2 chain guns because I felt that was sufficient enough, so they just plug onto the side of the forearms like that. I'm going to plug these in here, and then he can just point his shoulders forward and then just aim those at whatever giant monster, aliens he's fighting in whatever episode he's in, which he fights a lot of different creatures and characters and robots and stuff in the show, so, you know, it's if you like giant robots and action movie, like, references and, like, you know, Transformer references and pretty much every reference to giant robot media, Megas XLR is a great show. Sadly, it was a tax write-off, so they'll never really use the name or license again, but at least we have the 2 seasons to remember it by, as well as, you know, plenty of 3D models and other stuff on the internet that people have made, including my Lego MOC here. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed. Hopefully this will be the final update to this character, because I know I built this figure a long time ago, but hopefully I won't need to make any more changes, but until next time, you all have a good one.
Hallelujah! Another soul saved!